Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Sara Ionescu. I am a board certified family medicine physician, wife, mom of 4, and exercise enthusiast. So today I wanted to say welcome to my YouTube channel. I have been posting short videos here for a while, but today is going to be my first longer form type video. This channel is going to be all about things exercise motivation, tips, tricks, mindset shift talk. If you're into that sort of thing, you can definitely come back here for more. Lots of health, wellness, these types of topics. So today I wanted to start with talking about finding time to exercise. I think in my own personal life, as well as in many of the interactions I've had with patients over the years, when we start to talk about the benefits of exercise, many times the biggest barrier that comes up is time. How do I find the time to exercise? My life is so busy. I have all these responsibilities. What do I do? So first, I wanted to start with explaining where I came from. So I was an athlete when I was younger, and I was used to exercising on a regular basis. It was built into my life. And then when I went to med school and then I got married, we had multiple dogs, started having children, life changed significantly and things got a lot busier. And initially, I found myself struggling to find time to exercise. It was sort of on the bottom of the list of things to do, and it bothered me that I felt like I couldn't find the time to do it. Years later now, I feel like I have gotten there where I am able to build in that time to exercise regularly. And along the way, I have developed some tips that I noticed I created for myself that have really made it possible for me to find that time to exercise. So I was there. I struggled with it. I was busy working as a full-time physician with multiple animals, children, husband, all the things of life. And I was struggling to do it. And I eventually figured it out. And so that's why I'm here today to explain to you, the different things that I have figured out that really helped me get to where I am today, which is exercising daily. And I have been exercising daily now for 77 weeks. So I have 5 tips for you that really I think can help with exercise consistency. So the first tip is connecting with your why. And what I mean by that is, why do you want to exercise? And for me, initially it was, well, of course, I want to be healthy. I'm a physician. I know that exercise is an important part of life, to longevity, to heart health, to all the things. But sometimes I think it's difficult to connect with why. Like, why do I want to be healthy? And so thinking about the concrete reasons for you and actually writing them down on paper can be really helpful. This doesn't have to be a big, complicated process. You can just grab a piece of loose leaf and a pen and take, 5 minutes or so and jot it down. But for me, thinking of specific examples, I want to be able to carry my toddler up the stairs without getting short of breath. I want to be able to chase my kids around outside and feel strong and healthy and not winded and tired. I want to live long to take care of my family and be there for my friends. So these are some more concrete examples that for me, when I'm struggling for why do I want to get out there to exercise, I go back to these things. There is, of course, also the self-care aspect of things. Stress is high, no matter what you do, but I think for people that work as a physician, that go through years and years of training, having an outlet for that stress, for that anxiety and depression, and I know many people today are suffering with these things, having an outlet is so important. And the more you move, when you notice and take notice of that, you'll see that those type of symptoms can often improve and sometimes even resolve. And so, that was another big part for me. It helps with stress. It helps with overwhelm. It's an outlet, a positive outlet for some of those negative type emotions. And again, your why may not be my why. You have to sit down and think about it for yourself, but those ideas, those things are so important to your exercise consistency and your motivation. So that is tip number 1, connect with your why. Number 2 is evaluate your definition of exercise. This was huge for me. When I was younger, I was used to being on a team. We had a practice. At a minimum, it was an hour. Sometimes it was 2 hours. So then once I graduated college and I was no longer in team sports, I realized that I was still defining exercise in that way. So for me, if I wasn't able to get out there and exercise for 30 plus minutes at a vigorous level, I didn't count it as exercise. And so then in my head, if I couldn't carve out 30 minutes next to each other, I thought, well, today it's a no-go. We're just going to skip it. And reevaluating and changing that definition was huge for me because I started to realize I'm not an athlete where the only thing I have in the day is focusing on that team and then my homework. I have other responsibilities. I have a job, I have kids, I have family, all the things. And that 30 minutes may not be doable in this phase of life, and that's okay. I think recognizing where you are in life, what you can do is huge. And I actually, when I made this change for myself, I also started talking to patients about this. And this is where my, can you do 1 minute of exercise a day? And the answer almost always when I asked a patient that was yes, because, of course you can find 1 minute in your day. And if you can just get out there for that 1 minute, it makes a difference. It makes you feel proud of yourself. It makes you know that you're taking care of yourself. And like I said, for me, adjusting that definition of what exercise is, you can define it. You can say what it is for you. So maybe it is getting out there for 1 minute, or it may be walking leisurely outside. It doesn't have to be my heart rate is at its max and I'm drenched in sweat. That type of exercise is awesome, but you have to adjust to what is reasonable for you at your current phase of life. And that's why tip number 2 is to evaluate and maybe redefine exercise for yourself. Tip number 3 is to be prepared. So I find that finding time to exercise is sometimes challenging because thinking of all the prep work involved eats away at the amount of time you have to exercise. So for example, changing into your clothes, filling up your water bottle, figuring out the type of exercise you're going to do. These are all things that take a few minutes. And if you only have 5 minutes in that moment to dedicate to exercise, if you're not prepared, that preparation can then eat into the actual exercise. So this is where I try to have 2 different parts of exercise. There's the preparation, which for me, I usually do the night before, and then there's the actual exercise. So taking the few minutes ahead of time, whether it's earlier that day or the night before, to do things like fill your water bottle, pick out the clothing you're gonna wear, plan the workout, exactly what you're going to do. So then when it's the time to start the exercise, you get in there and you get right to the workout. I've even given some patients the tip of sleep in your workout clothes. If you're planning to work out in the morning, if they're comfortable enough, you can wear them as pajamas. You wake up, you're dressed, you have your water bottle filled, you're ready to go. And so that's why that be prepared tip is so important, because it can really help you minimize the amount of time it takes to be ready to exercise when you're actually there. Tip number 4 is be flexible and give yourself grace. So this is something that I struggled with over the years, and I feel like in the last year or 2, I'm really starting to embrace. This is where you eliminate that throw it out the window mentality. So, okay, I missed today, the whole week is done. I'll start again Monday. Or I missed 2 days this week, okay, the whole month is over, I'll start again next month. When you have that type of mindset, it makes it really difficult to exercise consistently and to find the time. So that's where it's important to be flexible. You may have a day where you wake up later than you planned and you don't have the amount of time you thought you would to exercise. But that's where you pivot and adjust and you do whatever you can in the minutes you have. You still got out there, you showed up and you did something. And that ultimately will help you feel proud and help you be more consistent, because even though you may not have done what you wanted to do, you still did something. So that's where that just dedicate 1 minute, you'll feel that momentum and you'll stay in momentum instead of stopping and going back to that mindset of I'm throwing it out the window. The give yourself grace part is also important. There may be a day where there's a lot of personal things going on. There's a lot of stress. There's kids that are having tantrums. There's drama at work, whatever it might be. It's okay to say, okay, today it's not going to be what I thought it was going to be, but here's what I can do. Here's what I can dedicate to my self-care or my exercise. Or it may be that that day it's just not going to work out. I'm not going to be able to exercise. That's also okay. Give yourself grace, recognize it, and then get right back to it the next day. Be aware of making that decision and make it intentionally, as opposed to what we were talking about where it's sort of the mindset of, okay, we'll just wait till next month. So that's why tip number 4 in terms of helping with finding time to exercise is to be flexible and give yourself grace. And the last tip for finding time for exercise is celebrating your wins. And you sort of may be thinking, how will that help me find the time? Well, it's a mindset thing. When you celebrate all your wins, you start to feel so proud of yourself and encouraged that you realize, wow, when I'm doing this, this makes me feel good. I feel good about myself. I feel proud. I might even be inspiring other people around me, like my coworkers or my family members. And you start to realize, this is something that I want to repeat. I want to keep doing this. And so you got out there a minute every day this week. Check it off. That's awesome. Celebrate that win. It doesn't matter that it was only a minute or that your neighbor or your spouse is doing something different. You did something awesome for you, and that's huge. You know, thinking about all the different little wins, as little or tiny as they may seem, writing it down and applauding yourself is huge for your mindset, because you will realize you're taking the time for yourself. You get excited about that. You feel proud, and that makes you want to find that time more because you want to dedicate that time to yourself. And that goes back to connecting to your why. So I hope that you resonate with even one little tip in this video. The goal is that you incorporate maybe just one into your life and see what happens. If you're interested in learning more about what I'm about, my interests, and learning more, you can head over to my website, which is my name. It's Dr. Sara, S-A-R-A, Ionescu, IONESCU.com, where you can sign up for my newsletter, and I plan to be, emailing out probably weekly tips and tricks and different motivation type things, all about exercise consistency, and that type of topic. And so I just wanted to review the 5 tips we went over today for helping you to find the time to exercise. So number 1 is to connect with your why. Number 2 is to evaluate and maybe even redefine exercise for yourself. Number 3 is to be prepared. Number 4 is to be flexible and give yourself grace. And number 5 is to celebrate all of your wins. Imagine if you incorporated 1, 2, or even all 5 of these into your life, and you went from not exercising regularly to exercising daily, like I have for 77 weeks. What could happen? What other areas of your life might change, might be awesome? Try it out and let me know. You can always subscribe here for more. I hope you enjoyed this. Bye, everyone.